All right. And in five, four, three, two, one. Yes. All right. We're going live now.
Welcome to Living by Oak Values, where we don't just talk about values, we embody them. We are here to unlock what makes us stronger men, fearless leaders, and unstoppable humans. I'm Gary, the Superior Mailman, and this isn't just a podcast, it's a mission. And we are here to keep it real, raw, and ready to rebuild. And if you're tired of playing small and you're ready to reclaim your identity, your power, and your purpose, then lean in because this episode could be the spark that changes everything. Let's dive in.
Awesome. And I'm Rob. Mastery of self. The greatest challenge it is. Within the storm, quiet you must. Emotions, feel them, control them. Let them not control you. Discipline. Your ally it becomes. Reaction, your enemy it is. Patience, what you need for change. Slowly it moves. Know thyself. Only then will true power awaken. Whether you've been with us from the start or you're just now tuning in, welcome to the crew. Grab your Next Level Dad packet and stay updated on our website, northmancoaching.com.
And today's guest is Cliff Shuffler, a former firefighter and EMT who spent years saving lives, nearly drinking his own away. Now 13 years sober, he's a devoted husband, father, and motivational speaker, a life coach helping others rise from rock bottom. This is a story of redemption, grit, and purpose, and self-mastery. Let's get into it with Cliff Shuffler.
Thank you very much.
You're
Very, very
welcome.
happy to be here. Very honored to be here. Thank you, guys.
Cliff, thank you, thank you. Yep, we appreciate it.
Yeah, definitely.
So, Cliff, tell us how it all started. Tell us from wherever you want to start. From, I don't know, birth or college or where you notice it slipping or whatever.
Well, if we're talking about self-mastery and we're talking about resiliency, we're talking about creating fortitude, all that kind of stuff in your life and coming back from rock bottom, then I got to start kind of at the beginning, but I'll make it quick and I'll make it concise so you don't have to hear the entire details of my story. But like, honestly, I took my very first drink. That's what I hit rock bottom with, was alcoholism. I took my very first drink when I was 10 years old at a friend's birthday party. We broke into his mom's liquor cabinet. By the age of 13, I was drinking on a regular basis, and that drinking kept going until I was 39 years old. That is what,
Mm.
yeah, that's when I had to think about that for a second. That's when I finally got sober at 39 years old, 26 years of drinking. Now, the drinking I was doing wasn't like, I'm going to go out, be social, have a couple beers with the guys on the weekends and come back home. No, it was every single night that I had the opportunity to get drunk, passed out, blacked out drunk. That was me. That's what I was doing. And it all culminated in me basically drinking myself to death in 3 different hotel rooms 13 and a half years ago. I went on a downward spiral over a 3-week period. And in that 3-week period, I was in 3 different hotel rooms in the ER 3 or 4 times. I was in detox 3 or 4 times and literally got out of detox the last time. My mom's like, you're not going back in detox. You're not going back to the hotel rooms. We're going to get this taken care of. Took me back to her house. She was a recovering alcoholic also. Takes me to her house, get there, and she's like, you got to be hungry. I'm going to go get you some food. What would you like? I'm like, I don't care. Just like some lunch meat, sandwich, bread, whatever. That's fine. Right. I felt like crap. I just got out of detox. My head's not straight. And she left. The second she left, I took the very last $10 that my wife and I had in our account, transferred it to our checking account, walked down the street to the liquor store and bought a big bottle of blueberry vodka. Brought it back to my mom's house, sat down on my desk. Now the company I was working for at the time, I was a firefighter at the time, just gonna be straight with that. I was trying to get into my email. Well, because of that 3-week binge I was on, I had missed some shifts and I knew I was in trouble. So I'd been locked out of my email. I was trying to get into my email. I knew I was in trouble. I knew my life was a disaster. My life was basically getting ready to end. Because when I was in those hotel rooms for that 3.5 weeks, I was literally having seizures. I was in these hotel rooms by myself, drinking myself to blackout drunk, having seizures, waking up with bruises the next morning. No idea how in the hell I survived any of that. No idea how I'm still alive after that. My best friend died from having a seizure, and I was having multiple seizures in these hotel rooms. But I go get that blueberry vodka. I come back to my mom's house. I sit down at this rackety old desk she has at her laptop, and I'm trying to log into my work email. And I take that blueberry vodka and I pick it up and I take 3 massive swigs off that. And when I took those 3 massive swigs, something snapped in me. Something broke. Woo! Getting a little choked up talking about it. Something broke in me. And I set that bottle down and I looked at that bottle and I said, in my mind, I knew right then and there, I'm like, I am either going to take one of two paths. I'm going to drink myself until I die right now, or I'm going to quit. And I called up my mom and I said, I can't live like this anymore. I'm done. Come get me. So I gave in. I surrendered. I went to rehab. I spent 30 days in rehab, got out of there. I resigned from my 19-year career as a firefighter paramedic. Had absolutely nothing to fall back on. Sorry. Nothing to fall back on. No backup plan, no retirement, nothing. I had nothing. I had a little bit of a retirement, but I took 8 months off, stayed at home with my wife and kids, blew through that, right? So I got nothing. I've hit rock bottom. I destroyed my entire life. Thank God my wife and kids stuck with me. We almost lost our house. We almost lost everything that I worked towards. And now I had nothing to identify myself. I had nothing to fall back on. Didn't know what the hell I was going to do with my life because I'd spent my entire adult career as a firefighter paramedic. That's all I knew. That was my identity, right? Mm-hmm. And the thing that people need to think about, the thing that people need to realize is you need to figure out who you are regardless of whatever you think of as your identity, because any of that stuff can be gone like that. And even though it was a 3-week spiral that I was on, it felt like the blink of an eye, right? I woke up one day and I was like, what the fuck did I just do to my life? My life is completely in ruins, completely destroyed. So think about that as you wake up tomorrow. Just imagine for a second, you wake up tomorrow, all the stuff you use to identify yourself, your job, your house, your money, your income, your clothes, your title, your family, everything is gone in the blink of an eye. Who are you? And are you going to survive? And there's a great quote that says, the world breaks everyone. And afterwards, some of us are stronger in the broken places. Well, I wasn't going to stay broken my entire life. So I picked up the pieces. I started working back. I started trying to figure out what now? What am I going to do now? And I started moving forward, but not in a good way because I was still in a very negative place because I had gone through all this stuff. And what I found myself a few years later working in the oil field, right? I was unhappy. I was completely miserable. I hated my job. I hated my pay, hated my boss, hated my coworkers, hated the work I was doing, hated the drive to work, tons and tons and tons of negativity, completely negative mindset. And I got sick of it. And I'm like, this is not who I am. This is not who I want to be. And I started making a change. And I was listening to a lot of personal development stuff at the time. And thank God I was doing that because it started to get in my head. And I realized that it all starts with my mindset. And back in about 2015, that's when I started working on my mindset. And what I did is I actually said, I'm going to pay attention to what I'm thinking. I'm actually going to focus on the thoughts that I'm allowing to take root in my brain and control my day because it was all negative thoughts, right? And it was the funniest thing probably to the people I worked with. But if you've never done that, try that once in your life. Just sit there and say, I'm going to dedicate today and I'm going to actually, with intention and purpose, pay attention to every single thought that comes into my head. Now, you're not going to be able to do it because you're going to have some that pop in there and you don't realize it until 5 minutes later, like, where the hell did that come from? But I started doing that. And every time I realized I was having a negative thought, I would literally stop myself. In my head, I would say stop, or even sometimes out on the pad at the oil disposal site I worked at, I'd be like, stop. First thought wrong. And I would replace it with a more productive thought, a positive thought, a gratitude thought, and not fake stuff like, oh, the flowers are so pretty. No, it was actual stuff like, I'm able to provide for my family. And I started doing that. And over the course of about 3-4 weeks, my mindset started to shift. I started retraining my brain, that neuroplasticity. I started retraining my brain to focus on positive things rather than negative things. To every time something bad happened or a challenge came up, it would be like, okay, what's another way we can look at that rather than the default negative pathway that I had created for my entire life, and most of us have for our entire life. Within about a month, I was happy. I was fulfilled. I was doing my job with more enthusiasm. I was starting to do way better at my job. My whole entire world, my reality, my life had completely changed. Nothing external to me had changed. I had the same job, the same boss, the same coworkers. I was doing the same work. Every single thing remained the same. My mindset is the only thing that changed. And that's how powerful your mind is. From there, I moved on and I went through a lot of different jobs. I've been through a lot of challenges, had a lot of hardships and stuff. I've stayed sober through it all, even chopping off half my thumb 2.5 years ago, 3.5 years ago, something like that. And 2.5 years ago, kind of fast forward a little bit, 2.5 years ago, here I am sitting in my house. I'm now overweight, out of shape, still working on trying to have a positive mindset, right? I never let go of that, but I had allowed myself to get to a place in my life where I didn't want to be. Sitting on the couch, overweight, out of shape, eating like crap, vaping. My cholesterol had gone through the roof. I had crossed over into type 2 diabetes. I hadn't gone to the gym in a long time, and I hated it. I literally sat there every single day saying, I do not like who I am. I know I'm capable of so much more. I know I can do so much more. I got this dream that came to me back in 2016 when I was doing all this mindset work, and I'm not doing a damn thing to move towards it. And I finally got sick enough of it that I made a change. And there's another quote. I love quotes, everybody. So that's why I keep bringing up quotes. But there's a quote that says, change happens when the pain of staying the same becomes greater than the pain of change. Because change isn't easy. Change is hard and it sucks and it hurts sometimes. But
It
when you
has to be
become so
uncomfortable.
sick of being who you are, that's when change is going to happen. And that's where I was. And what I did is I started really looking at my life. Sorry, did you say something there?
No, I said it has to be uncomfortable.
It is. It can be
It's
very,
like
very
I don't
uncomfortable.
want to curse, but it's like crap in your pants. It's
Yeah,
uncomfortable, so you change.
it is. Yeah. So, but I sat there and like, there's this really simple thing that Tony Robbins says. He goes, "You want to make a big change in your life? I can sum it up for you in three easy words, as boring as it may sound. Raise your standards." And for some reason, I'd heard that a million times before, but it resonated with me that day. And I was like, okay, I'm sick of being the person I am. What am I allowing in my life? Because that's all the standard is. It's whatever you're allowing and not allowing in your life. And a lot of us never ever look at that. And we just passively allow all these negative things in our lives, all these destructive habits, all these patterns that we do day in and day out that we never give a second thought to. And we do them repeatedly through our whole life. And then we're like, how the hell did I get here? And you look back on it, you're like, my standards suck. They're low. I've never evaluated my standards. So I looked at what I was accepting in my life, and I decided I'm no longer accepting this shit anymore. No more. And the first thing I started with was vaping because I knew it was bad for me. And every time I took a hit off that vape, I had instant regret. I hated it. So I got up one morning, I smashed all my vape pods, and yeah, I could have gone out and gotten more vape pods very easily. I'm like not even a mile away from a gas station. But I told myself, this is my new standard and I will not budge. I will not bend. This is it. I'm drawing a line. And my stand was I will no longer vape. Now, I had all these things I wanted to change, all that stuff I just mentioned about being overweight, out of shape, unhealthy, cholesterol, diabetes, all that kind of stuff, right? Mentioned all that. And a big mistake a lot of people make when they try to make changes in their lives is they take all of that and they bundle it up into one huge ball and want to do a slam dunk with it. It doesn't work that way. You try to do everything at once, you're going to fail. Pick something that you can change, that you would change. And Jordan Peterson talks about this too. He's like, you really want to change something? You go sit on the edge of your bed one night and ask yourself, what is one thing I'm doing on a daily basis to totally screw up my life that I could change, that I would change? Meditate on that and you'll get an answer. You're probably not going to like it. I didn't want to, well, I wanted to quit vaping, but I knew it was going to be hard. I'd have to go through the withdrawal, the cravings, all that kind of shit. But I
Hmm.
knew it was worth it. So that's the first thing I did was vaping. Once I got a little bit of success with vaping, after about 2 weeks or something, I'm like, cool, cravings have passed. I'm not doing it. I'm on a good path. What's next? Well, I'm type 2 diabetic. I'm going to change my diet, cut out all the sugar, all that kind of stuff. And one by one, slowly over time, I chalked away at all these things that I didn't like about myself. To where you fast forward now, 2 years later, I'm in the best shape of my life. I go to the gym 6 days a week, so 7 sometimes. My diet's been dialed in for 2.5 years. I reversed my type 2 diabetes. I've cut my cholesterol in half. I'm happy. I'm fulfilled. I'm active. All the stuff that I hated about myself 2.5 years ago is gone. And the thing to remember about that, the thing to think about right there, the key takeaway with that is where did I start this story at, right? Taking my first drink at 10 years old and then moving forward through all those years till I was 39 years old, completely destroying my life, thinking I'm living the good life, thinking I'm living it up, thinking I'm having fun just like everybody else, having a good time partying, right? Slowly over time, completely destroying everything that I used to identify myself and that I'd worked so hard for. I completely destroyed my life, slammed into rock bottom. I didn't hit it, crawl down to it. I slammed into it. And now, 13 and a half years later, I'm here. and I'm happy
Hmm.
and I'm healthy and I'm passing that on and I'm teaching other people from all these lessons that I've been through, all the challenges, the hardships, the difficulties, the heartbreaks, the failures that I've been through in my life. They all hold a lesson. And every one of those lessons I can teach to somebody else. So they either don't have to experience it, or if they are experiencing it, they can get through it a little easier.
Hmm.
So, what kept you motivated through these years, especially these last 2 years of major change? Because motivation to me is kind of hard to keep going.
Exactly. And I just made a video about that today, actually, is motivation is very, very important. Motivation does have a place in everybody's life. But if you're one of those people that sits around and you wait for motivation, and just so everybody knows, I'm a very straightforward, very blunt person as far as motivational speaker, life coach, stuff like that. I tried playing it like we talked about this earlier, but anyways, I tried playing by everybody's rules and it just didn't fit me. I do things the way I want to do it, but discipline is way more important than motivation. And I talked about that in my videos as far as what's more important, discipline or motivation. And one of our good friends, Jay Saro, talked about this in one of his videos too. If you sit around and you wait to feel like it, you're not going to do it, because about 99% of the time, you're not going to feel like doing the stuff you want to do or that you need to do to change your life. And that's why people don't change their life, because that's the hard thing to do, is to have the discipline. And if you're waiting for motivation, motivation's a feeling, discipline's an action. Now, if you have discipline, you can use motivation to leverage yourself, to push yourself and go further than you normally would be able to. But if you're sitting around on the couch going, boy, I hope I get the motivation to go to the gym at some point in my life, you're not going to go to the gym ever in your life. It's not going to happen. And that's what people wait for. They wait for motivation. I didn't wait for that. I created discipline. So the first thing I did is I raised my standards. I said, this is where my standards are. They suck. They're going to keep me stuck. That's why I'm in the spot that I'm in now. And I always tell people, I go, you cannot take yourself to the next level in your life with the same mindset that got you where you are now, with the same standards that got you stuck in the first place. You got to change your mindset. You got to raise your standards. And then you got to create discipline to hold yourself accountable to that mindset and to those standards, because your brain is going to want to pull you back. I was miserable. And we were talking about this right before the podcast. I was completely miserable where I was, but I was comfortable because I didn't have to expect anything to there was no surprises. I knew exactly what was going to happen day by day, right? I was going to get up. I was going to be lazy. I was going to watch Netflix. I was going to eat like crap. Yeah, my health might get a little worse, but I don't have to worry about that now. I can worry about that later on in life, right? Right
There's
now,
always
I'm
tomorrow.
okay. I'm surviving. Yeah, tomorrow. I'll worry about that once I have the heart attack, once I have the stroke, once I have all this other bad shit happen to me, because I don't want to put forth the effort right now, right? There's no surprises. So even though I was miserable, I was comfortable. And that's where your brain is going to want to keep you. Your brain doesn't want you to do anything dangerous or risky or get uncomfortable. So that's why motivation is not going to work. I said, these are my standards. And I was so sick and tired of disappointing myself, because you're the only person that you're going to have in your life from birth to death, right? And that's the person you need to worry about disappointing the most, right? If I constantly disappoint myself and let myself down, then how can I hold up my end of the bargain for my wife and my kids if I can't even do it for myself? Right?
Mhm.
So I set my standards, said, I'm not bending. I'm drawing a line in the sand. And the only way I'm going to get there is to force myself to do it, to create discipline. When my mind has those little voices in the back of it saying, nah, you can take the day off, man. You've been hitting it hard. You deserve to eat that pizza. You can have a one bowl of ice cream's not going to kill you, right? Be like, no, no, I don't accept that in my life anymore. That's not who I am anymore. This is who I am, and I'm going to stick to it. And it's just creating that discipline. Now, I listen to motivational stuff whenever I very rarely listen to music anymore. I turn on YouTube and I turn on motivational videos. I listen to that stuff every time I'm driving, every time I'm in the gym. That is the stuff that gets me pumped up. That's the stuff that pushes me. That's what gets me going. But it's
Gotcha.
because I have that discipline that I'm able to leverage that and use it to push myself,
So
right?
I have a question for you on that one. So since you brought
What's
the
that?
wife and kids into this,
What's that?
since you brought the wife and kids into your story here,
Yeah,
how do your kids? How do they? What do they? They see that you're so disciplined. Are they disciplined? Are they disciplined?
they are, and they're getting there. And that's part of the reason why I wanted to focus on myself so much. And I kind of started to say it earlier, and I know that you've heard this too, Spirit Mailman, is, I mentioned already, like, you're the only you that you get. From
Hmm.
birth to death, you're it. You're the only person that's ever going to be in your life from birth to death. Every single person is temporary. My wife and my kids, I love them with all my heart. But there's a time I didn't know my wife, and there's a time my kids didn't exist. They are a temporary part of my life. My parents are more than likely not going to be here for the rest of my life. All the friends, all the people that I worried about, um, impressing back in high school, that I wanted to be part of the cool crowd and all this kind of stuff. I don't even remember half those people's names anymore, right? And we spend so much time worrying about what other people think about us, how we're going to act around them, how we can be accepted. We worry about how we look and how we act, and we want to fit into this little mold of what we think we should be like so that we can be accepted and fit into this certain group. But we don't take time to realize that we're the most important person in our lives. Those people aren't going to be here from birth to death. You have to spend every single second of every single day of your entire life with you. You're the only person. Once you start focusing on yourself, once you start working on yourself, and you create that, I call it the DSM factor, discipline, standards, and mindset, you get that DSM factor dialed in your life. And I know it sounds really selfish what I'm saying right here about, oh, just focus on yourself. But I always tell people, in order to be selfless, you first have to be selfish. You
Yep.
got to work on you. You're it, right? And as soon as you get that dialed in and you start working on yourself, that trickles out into everything in your life, your relationships with your family, your kids, your coworkers, your acquaintances, every person that you interact with. Not only is your relationships better, but you start having a positive effect on them. So my kids have started. That's part of why I wanted to do this too. That's a big part of my why is my kids, right? And my family. And since I started doing this 2.5 years ago, my son started going to the gym, probably not because of me, but one of his friends started going. He saw what I was doing. He actually used to come in and make fun of me for weighing my food on the scale. And he's like, oh, yeah, Dad, yeah, on your diet again. And, just making fun of me. And then he comes in one day. He's like, hey, Dad, can I use your scale? I'm like,
Excellent.
oh yeah, you can use my scale, man. He decided he wanted to lose weight because he was starting to put a little bit of weight on, not a ton, but more than his friends. Well, he went to the gym once with his friends. He's like, I kind of like that. I'm going to go again. And he went again, went a couple more times, and now he goes all the time. He's got a membership. Him and his friends go and lift weights all the time. It's great. My daughter, she loves volleyball. And like she's already asked me, she asks me every single night. She's like, hey, Dad, you want to hit the ball around? Because I have worked on myself, because I'm in good shape, because I'm healthy, fit, active at 52. I'm out there hitting the volleyball around with her, teaching her stuff, helping her improve her skills so that she can make the volleyball team this year. And she's disciplined too because she practices that stuff every single day. Because last year she wasn't as disciplined. She didn't make the team. It broke her heart. And she's like, that is not going to happen again.
And just think on that note that if you hadn't had the discipline or the motivation or the mindset, and you just said tomorrow, maybe tomorrow I'll start getting better, you would never be playing volleyball with your daughter right now. You'd be sitting on
No,
that couch.
I wouldn't be anywhere.
If
I'd
you
be
would be
sitting on
alive
that
still.
couch still. I'd be
Yeah.
exactly where I was 2.5 years ago.
So
And that's one of the things that people don't think about either. Like, you think you're miserable now, play that out for about 5 years. And this is another Jordan Peterson thing. I love Jordan Peterson. I listen to a lot of his stuff, but he's like, you think you're miserable now? He goes, play that out for another 5 years. You haven't
yeah.
changed at all. You haven't done anything different. Now you're older and you're a lot more miserable and nothing has changed. Right? Everybody always wants to future plan as far as like, oh, in 5 years, I could do this. I could do this. I could do this. I could reach all my goals, all my dreams. And it's great to do that. It's very healthy to do that. And you should set goals. You should have dreams and you should work towards them. But the people that don't, think about that. If I do absolutely nothing for 5 years, where am I going to be? How am I going to feel? Where's my life going? Right? You want to talk about misery? It's it's a living hell, I think, personally.
So tell us about you're working towards self-mastery. Is there a fear that comes to mind that you have, and how do you overcome that fear?
My biggest fear in life is regret.
Hmm.
My favorite quote of all times is from Jim Rohn that says, we will all suffer one of two pains, the pain of discipline or the pain of regret. Discipline weighs ounces, but regret weighs tons. My biggest fear in life is getting to the end of my life on my deathbed with a what if, or I wish I would have.
Hmm.
That's my biggest fear. And that keeps me going. That keeps me driving forward. All those days that I wake up, I don't want to wake up at 3 a.m. Some days I got to get up and go to the gym at 3 a.m. because I have to get it done before I go work a 12-hour shift, or I'm not going to get it done. I don't want to get up at 3 a.m. Nobody wants to get up that early, let alone get up and go to the gym and lift heavy stuff. It sucks. It's not fun. It's hard to do. It's not motivation that gets me there. It's discipline that gets me there. And it's that other voice that I've created in the back of my head saying, what are you going to have today? You're going to have discipline or you're going to have regret, because that regret can be instant and long term. If I know I need to go to the gym today, I know I told myself I'm going to go to the gym today. I promised myself I go to the gym today. I got my workout all planned. I know the diet I need to have. I know the food I need to eat to reach my goals. And I say, you know what? I'm not going to do it today. I'm just not feeling it. That is going to sit up here all day long. It's going to weigh on my shoulders. And all day I'm going to be disappointed in myself. And at the end of the day, I'm going to lay my head on my pillow and be like, fuck, you didn't do it, man. You didn't do it. All you had to do was go to the gym. That's it. That's not that hard. But we give into that voice in the back of our head rather than be like, nope. I've never met anybody that regrets keeping the commitments they made to themselves. So my biggest fear is living with regret. And I avoid that by keeping the commitments I made to myself. And that goes so much further too, rather than just like, cool, I said I was going to go to the gym. I'm going to go to the gym. And we were talking about this on one of my lives last night. And it was Jay Sorrow talking about it again. It's like you walk into a room and you own the room, right? People that are fit, people that are healthy, people that take care of themselves. It's not cockiness, it's confidence. You want to build self-confidence, you want to build self-belief, you want to build self-love, take care of yourself, make a commitment to yourself and keep it. And every single time you keep that commitment to yourself, you start stacking win after win after win, because you're like, I said I would do it, I did it. I said I would do it, I did it. I said I would do it, I did it. You build mad self-confidence that way. And nobody can touch you because you know that you are who you say you are. You know?
Yep.
And I've said it a bunch of times too, that, you know, we don't rise to the standards we have when other people are looking. We fall to the standards we have when nobody's looking. So who are you when nobody's looking? Because if you're somebody different, then you're just living a lie. The standards you have in your life have to be the same, whether you're there by yourself and nobody's looking, or you're out there in public and you're trying to make everybody see who you really are. You got to have the same standards both ways, or you're living a lie.
Absolutely. So I had a question and I forgot what it was, but I have another question though. So when you put that bottle down of that blueberry vodka and you said something's got to change right now,
Nope.
did you ever think in your wildest dreams at that point that you would be helping other people find their way out of darkness at that point in your life?
Nope. The only thing I cared about in that moment was I did not want to die. I knew that. I knew in that moment, like, I do not want to die. Because literally, like, if I would have kept drinking that, I wouldn't have stopped until I was dead. I was right on that edge. It's like, I'm either going to die or quit. And I just wanted to live. That didn't come to me. And I got it. I don't have my wallet with me right now, but in my wallet, I carry a piece of paper with me. On April 4th, 2016, I was driving to that job I was talking about in the oil field, where I hate my job, I hate my life, I hate blah, blah, blah. Well, I had done the mindset shift. I'd done a lot of work on my mindset, and I'd shifted it. My life was starting to look up. I was starting to see a lot of opportunities, a lot of potential in my life. Doors were starting to open that were closed before, or I couldn't see before. I was starting to see that light through the darkness, and I was driving to work, and it was like, boom. It was like one of those moment of clarities that people talk about, but nobody ever has. I had one of those, and I had this thought come to mind, and I was like, as soon as I got to work, I took out a piece of paper and I wrote down that I just realized that I spent my entire life as a paramedic firefighter helping other people, trying to save lives, right? And like you said in the intro, I couldn't save myself. Well, I did. And I came back from rock bottom. I came back from absolute zero, and I learned so much. And I'm like, I can give people hope. I can give people help. I can get people through those hard times, and I can teach them from all the shit that I've been through, all the hardships I've been through. I can teach other people. And I got to work, and I wrote out, like, this is what I am meant to do, and this is what I will keep pursuing until I get it. And I signed it, and I dated it, and I carry it in my wallet every single day still, almost 9 years later. And I'm still working towards that dream. And I don't care if it takes me the rest of my life and I never get the dream. I'm on the road. I'm in the arena. I'm fighting for it. I'm going after it. I may never get it, but I'm never going to quit. I'll die on the road.
So on that note, did you see my video today? Because it's about getting in the arena, but you can watch it later. I just want to throw before I forget, because my memory is terrible. But I also at work when I'm things are not well, in my head I say out loud stop, and I have to wonder sometimes how many people have a Ring camera and the mailman is just yelling stop.
Stop.
But the next thing I want to tell you about is we are very similar because I have a tattoo on my arm. You can't really see it in the video, but instead of it in my wallet, I have the longitude and latitude,
Nice.
and in Roman numerals, the date of the place I was and the date when I realized I was enough and that this was the path I was meant to be on.
That is awesome. It's a
So
great feeling, man. It's a
it
great
is.
feeling. But the other side of that feeling that a lot of people don't realize is even this, even though you have that moment, even though I had that moment, I'm like, this is what I'm going to do. Hell yeah, I'm going to do it. It's not easy.
Oh,
It's
no, not at all.
very, very, very hard. And it takes a lot of tenacity, a lot of determination, a lot of discipline. And
That's where
you're going to
discipline
hit a
comes
lot
in.
of times where you're like, I don't know if I'm doing the right thing. I don't know if maybe I'm not on the right road. Maybe this isn't what I'm meant to do. It gets very, very hard, but you still got
Absolutely.
that choice. It's like I either keep going or I quit. And once you're exposed to that, once you once your eyes are open to what your potential is, what you're capable of accomplishing, and you create that belief in yourself that you actually can accomplish it, it is impossible to go back. You cannot go back because if you choose to go back, you're choosing mediocrity and you're choosing regret because you will live the rest of your life with that what if up until the day you die. Once you've been
Yep.
exposed to it, once you've seen it, you can't go back. You can. It's just that's not a path you want to go down, man. That's a very bad, miserable path of regret for the rest of your life.
It is. And I've had those days where I'm like, I quit. I'm done. This is too much.
Yeah.
Or and Rob and I have talked about it, the imposter syndrome, where like this is not what I belong on the couch. I belong with that bag of Doritos
Mm-hmm.
and Netflix.
Yeah. Why
And
me?
yeah, you know,
What makes me so special? Why should I be able to do this? Right? There's 5 billion coaches out there right now. Why should I be a life coach? Motivational speaker. What makes me think I can motivate people? Right?
well, you can for sure. You've motivated me. So
Well, and I appreciate that. Every night, and I've told you guys this, I'm completely open and honest and transparent. Every time I hit that live button, and it'll happen again tonight. Every time I hit that live button, am I going to say something stupid? Am I going to be able to talk? Am I going to fall over my words? Are people going to even watch me? Is anybody going to show up? Am I going to give bad advice and somebody's going to call me out that I'm an imposter and I don't know what the hell I'm talking about? Those voices of doubt run through your head every single time you hit that live, every time I hit that live button. Coming on this podcast tonight, right? I am
yep,
confident. I know my stuff, but I don't know everything. And I still screw up. I make mistakes. I don't know it all. I'm learning still, but I'm not going to wait. If I wait till I know everything to start helping people, I'll never start because I'll never know everything.
you never will.
You just start and you figure it out. And if somebody's like, yeah, you're wrong on that, I'd be like, that's a good point. I hadn't thought of that. You're right. Teach me. Right.
There you
Because
go.
what do I say in all my life? Not all my lives, but a lot of them.
I don't
Every
know.
man is my Joseph Campbell.
Oh, yes.
Right. Every man is my master in some way. In that, I may learn from him. And all that means is like, Rob, there's something that you're an expert at that I know absolutely nothing about. Right. There's something that you know that you're an expert on that I know nothing about. I've never been a mailman. I don't know anything about it.
Pretty
Right.
easy.
There's something I know that you guys don't know anything about. In that way, you guys are my master in that subject, in that area. You've been through stuff that I haven't experienced before. Every single one of us is like that. Every person is my master in some way. We're all here to learn from each other, teach each other, grow together, and go through this life together. Guess what? None of us have ever lived before. And every day we wake up is a new day that we've never experienced before. We're figuring it out as we go along. There's no blueprint to living. This is the first time any of us have lived our lives and the only time we're going to live our lives. So we figure it out together and we move forward. We make goals, we set dreams, and we go after them.
Yeah.
Or we sit back and do nothing and say, what if?
So one of the biggest things I learned as going down this road was self-mastery. The more I become go down this road, is the more I become aware and start observing before I react. And also noticing triggers or things and trying to figure out does this trigger control me, or am I able to not react to a trigger and be aware of it? So,
Exactly, and that is part of self mastery. That's part of, yeah, you were talking about it in your intro about, self awareness. Know thyself, right? If you don't
mm,
know yourself, not just the example I gave earlier about you need to know who you are, right? If you wake up tomorrow and everything's gone, are you going to survive? Are you going to break? And if you do break, are you going to be able to put those pieces back together? Or are you going to stay broken your whole life? Well, the same
mm,
is true with what you're talking about with, you know, uh, reacting and responding are two very different things, and a lot of people don't give them the a lot of thought, right? A reaction is a knee jerk, like something happens, bam, I'm going to react to it without thinking about it. But self mastery is having that patience, that mental acuity to be able to say, like, okay, that just happened. How am I going to react to it? How am I going to respond to it? Is
Respond.
more
That's the
accurately
keyword.
how to say it, right? How am I going to respond to this situation? It gives you that just that second, And as a firefighter, they always told us when you pull up on a scene of a burning house, put the engine in park, set the air brake, take a breath, right?
mm.
Because if we show up, we hop out of that engine, we start running circles around the house because we're like, oh my God, it's on fire. And we start reacting to the situation. We're not helping anybody. And it's going to get way out of control. The people whose house is on fire, they're looking to us to bring some kind of order, some kind of calm to a very, very, very chaotic situation, right? The same is true with that. Whatever happens in your life, whatever challenge, whatever unexpected thing. I woke up the other day, went out, my car wouldn't start. Brand new battery. I'm like, all right, whatever. I jump started it. Cool. Now I can go to the gym. I start backing down my driveway. I hear a noise. I'm like, what the hell is that? I get out. I got a flat tire too. I'm like, seriously? I go get my wife's truck, start heading off to the gym, get to the bottom of the hill. There's a train blocking the road. So I go down a dirt road to get around it. I get to the very end of that dirt road. Here comes another train, blocks
Mm.
out. So now I can't get past until that train. I'm sitting there waiting for that train to pass. I'm like, shit, I forgot my wallet. I had to do a 3-point turn, turn around, and go back on, get thing after thing after thing after thing. But instead of reacting and getting all pissed off and mad about it, it's like, all right. I mean, initially, yeah, that's a natural human reaction, is like get pissed off at first. It's just like, damn it, I forgot my wallet. All right. But, I always tell people that the best question you can ask yourself in situations like that or anything that happens is right?
Yep.
I forgot my wallet. And I got blocked by a train. And I got a flat tire. And well, my battery is dead. It wouldn't start. And what are you going to do about it? How are you going to respond to it? Are you going to get pissed off, fly off the handle, throw the keys and be like, I'm going back to bed. This day sucks. Everything's against me. I'm not going to make it to the gym. Screw it. Right? It's just not meant to be. Or are you going to stop and be like, okay, that just happened. What am I going to do? Well, I'm going to jump start my car. Okay, cool. Oh, I got a flat too. Now what am I going to do? Well, I'll take my wife's truck. Train. Forgot my what? You react or you respond. And when you respond, that shows that you've mastered the ability to take that deep breath when you pull up on the raging fire and say, whoa,
Yep.
wait a minute. Let me bring some order to this chaotic situation.
So who said that? And where'd you get that from?
God, I don't remember who I got that from.
Oh, then claim it for yourself.
And thank you very
And
much, Cliff. We
Yeah.
appreciate
Well,
it.
that reminds me of a, and we're gonna wrap it up in a second. But that reminds me of, and I don't know who said it either, but the strongest phrase you can say is "I am," because whatever
yeah,
you follow with "I am," that's going to define who you are and where you're going. So you have a
exactly.
choice. You say "I am," and you make it positive, or you can make it negative.
Yep.
And
And somebody
you,
pointed that out to me in a very, very blunt way one time, but it was so true and it really slapped me upside the head. It's like people use I am to
mhm,
define who they are. I am a
yep,
smoker. I am a firefighter. I am a mailman. No,
mhm,
I'm a person and the job I do is firefighting. I'm Cliff and I just so happen to smoke. I'm
right,
Cliff and I wasn't. You're not defined by all this extra shit you do unless you
exactly,
decide to let it define you,
yep,
right?
Goes back to
So you,
labels.
it
yeah,
does,
labels. Exactly.
and
You got to
judging.
know who you are and embrace that and accept that and don't belittle yourself by being like, I am a smoker. I am a failure. I am whatever you want to attach to that that's a negative connotation. Be
Right.
strong.
So, Cliff, tell the listeners where can they find you? What do you do besides work out every morning?
Well, that's pretty much it. That's my life, and pretty boring life. No, so I'm on all the social medias. I'm on Instagram, I'm on TikTok, I'm on LinkedIn, I'm on YouTube. I haven't done anything on YouTube in a long time, but on every single platform, it's C.E.Shuffler, just like shuffling cards, SHUFFLER, just like spelled on my name there on the screen.
We'll put that in the notes too.
What's that?
We'll put that in the show notes too. So just let you know.
Okay, yeah. So CE Shuffler on all the platforms. They're all the same. So you can find me anywhere on there. I'm a life coach. I'm a motivational speaker. If you need any speakers, let me know. If you need any coaching, let me know. I'm not one of those coaches that goes out and begs people for clients or anything like that. I don't try to hard sell anybody. You want to work with me? Cool. You don't want to work with me? Awesome. I also go live every single night, Monday through Thursday on TikTok at 7 p.m. Mountain Standard Time. So that's 9 o'clock your time and 9 o'clock your time also, right?
Yes,
Yes,
sir.
sir.
Yeah. So yeah, 7 p.m. Mountain Standard Time every single night, Monday through Thursday, sometimes on the weekends, but right now TikTok's my main platform. That's why I'm really hitting it hard. I do share stuff to Instagram and to Facebook. I forgot to mention that. Haven't done much with YouTube lately, but I'm going to jump back into that. But yeah,
You're
that's where
doing
you
it
can
now.
find me, and I'll help anybody out that needs it right now. What I hop on and I do every single night at 7 p.m. is free coaching. I'm literally on there just to help people. I'm not trying to sell them anything, rope them into anything. It's not a click funnel thing. It's not a pyramid scheme, nothing like that. I'm literally on there just offering up, ask me anything, and I'll see if I can help you. We'll talk about it and try to figure it out. I know Mailman's been on there tons of times and pretty much every night. And I appreciate the support, man. You're awesome and has seen what it's all about. And I haven't given anybody bad advice yet. I don't
Not that I
think.
know of.
If I have, they haven't gotten back to me on it.
You do keep me up pets on bedtime, but whatever. It's all
And
good.
I really appreciate that.
Well, Cliff, thank you for sharing your story. I do appreciate it. And
Yeah,
just
you bet.
and hang on for a second after we close up. I want to chat with you for another second here.
All right. You guys
So,
are awesome. Thank you so much for having me on here.
hey, no
Yes,
problem. Thank
sir.
you.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
And that's a wrap for today's show. Don't just listen, live it. Every moment you are casting a vote. Am I rising or am I retreating? Am I honoring my worth or selling it short? So make the vote count. Stand up, speak truth, show up for yourself like it depends on you. Wow. Okay. Show up for yourself like your life depends on it, because it does. Until next time, live strong, live aligned, and never forget, you're worth showing up for.
And tag us at Oak Values, no matter where you are on your journey. And keep walking, keep tuning in, because self-mastery starts the moment you stop trading yourself. Oh, shoot, I did it wrong. But anyways, it's up to you to start self-mastery.
And if you need a breakthrough, don't wait. Book one-on-one sessions with us. We'll help you master your emotional state, your mindset, and your mission. Subscribe on YouTube and follow me, Spirit Mailman, on TikTok for your daily dose of real talk and raw wisdom. We're not here to play it small. We're here to transform. And brothers, the Motivated Men's Group meets every Thursday at 7 p.m. Eastern. Hit that events tab on the website. It's a fire at the table, and your seat is waiting. Let's go.
In the next chapter, big things. We're just getting started. You feel that rumble, not the noise. That's the movement. The new episode with unfiltered guests, conversations that don't just scratch the surface, they cut deep where real self lives. We're going live more often, more raw, and more real. Louder than fear, broader than doubt. And guess what? We're saving a seat just for you. I think that was repetitive.
A little bit. Anyway,
Oh.
if you have a story that shook your world, a value that wrecked your comfort zone, and you want to rebuild your soul, then bring it here. Step into the light. The next chapter is on you. Until next time, stay grounded. We'll see you soon.
And above all, stay authentic. You keep forgetting that one.
Yeah. Sorry.